Chapter 1: The Need for an ART in Metro Cebu. In 2014, personnel from Doppelmayr, Austria, came to Cebu to make a presentation to the city mayor and council about aerial cable cars. Aerial cable cars applied in an urban environment are now commonly called ART or Aerial Ropeway Transit. In September 2015, the Eastern Asia Society for Transportation Studies Conference was held in Cebu. EASTS is the largest association of transportation engineers in Eastern Asia. Doppelmayr, the largest manufacturer of ARTs in the world, was among the main exhibitors. Engineer June Sanchez was among the visitors of the booth. June Sanchez is the chairman of the Metro Cebu Development Coordinating Board Subcommittee on Infrastructure and Utilities. MCDCB is a body mandated to formulate development plans for the Metro Cebu area and coordinate their implementation. Its board is composed of the governor, the mayor of 13 cities and municipalities, regional heads of national government agencies, and private sector representatives. In 2017, June and Kim Sanchez visited the ART in La Paz, Bolivia. As of this video in 2023, the La Paz ART is still the largest network of ARTs in the world, composed of 10 lines at 31 kilometers. In 2018, engineers June and Kim Sanchez and transportation engineering expert Lynn Madrona made a learning visit at the Doppelmayr headquarters in Wolfurt, Austria. Since 2018, a team of engineers from Cebu and Manila have been in contact with Doppelmayr, Austria, learning more about ART and conducting ART studies. JICA-funded Cebu Transportation Master Plan. JICA, or the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, is a funding agency of the government of Japan. It provides financial and technical assistance to mostly developing countries through grants and loans. JICA provided grants at no expense to the government to two very important infrastructure studies for Metro Cebu. The first was an infrastructure master plan that includes major roads, transportation, drainage, sewerage, and water supply. The second was a more detailed Transportation Master Plan. Recent examples of projects funded by JICA include the Fernan Bridge and the SRP Reclamation and Viaduct. Based on the two recent JICA studies, there are three major transportation projects that may be implemented soon. They are currently undergoing more detailed studies. The first two projects are the Mandaue Coastal Road and the Cebu-Mactan 4th Bridge. The third project is the implementation of LRT projects in Metro Cebu. The implementation of these two LRT projects is scheduled to start between 2025 to 2030. The first is the Central Line. The second is the Coastal Line. The two JICA studies proposed three types of potential mass transportation projects. First is the BRT. The JICA study did not elaborate on the BRT. There are already detailed studies on the Cebu BRT funded by the World Bank from 2011 to 2022. Its construction started in 2023. Second is the ART. As with BRT, JICA did not elaborate on the ART. It cites its successful implementation in La Paz, Bolivia as a mode of transport. It recommends a feasibility study on potential routes. Japanese companies do not make urban ARTs. Thus, it is unlikely that an ART project will be funded through JICA. The first urban ART in Yokohama, Japan was installed in 2021 by Doppelmayr, an Austrian company. Almost all urban ARTs in the world are built by European companies. Details on funding options for an ART will be elaborated in other chapters. Third is UMRT, or Urban Mass Rapid Transit. JICA has proposed two types of UMRT. First is LRT or light rail transit. Second is AGT or automated guideway transit. The main difference between the two is the LRT is propelled through steel tires, while the AGT is propelled through rubber tires. JICA has not yet decided which one to use. For this video series, we will assume it will be an LRT. JICA passenger traffic data collection and analysis. The JICA study covers the 13 component cities and municipalities composing of the expanded Metro Cebu. The following parts of this video will show some of the passenger traffic data that were collected by JICA to determine the passenger demand in different parts of Metro Cebu. This data will then be used to determine a suitable mode of transport for a particular area in Metro Cebu. These are some of the data collected by JICA in determining passenger demand. Origin-destination surveys were conducted in Metro Cebu by LGU. The highest passenger traffic measured in 2017 are among passengers traveling in the tri-cities of Cebu, Mandaue, and Lapu-Lapu. There will be a massive increase in 2030 and 2050. The highest number of cars, motorcycles, and demand for public transport is in Cebu City, Mandaue, and Lapu-Lapu. The travel speed of vehicles traveling along the major roads in Metro Cebu at different times of day were measured by JICA. Red means a low speed of up to 10 kph. They are presented here in graphical form to be able to visualize the areas of potential high passenger demand. This is the present transport network. This is the future transport network. Dotted blue lines are for transportation lines up to 2030. Dotted red lines are for transportation lines up to 2050. The demand-supply gap was calculated per LGU. This is a figure showing the predicted traffic congestion in the core of Metro Cebu in 2030 if no mass transportation is built. The red lines means heavy congestion, while the blue lines means lesser congestion. If the UMRT mass transportation projects recommended by JICA will be implemented, the red lines will turn into blue lines. This means that traffic congestion will be significantly reduced. The limits of this blue line is the location of the first phase of the Cebu LRT. This shows its implementation schedule. The feasibility study was supposed to have started in 2019, and the construction was supposed to have started in January 2023. This 4-year period could simultaneously have been used to acquire additional right-of-way. In the master plan, JICA explained the criticality of acquiring additional right-of-way. This figure, JICA shows the right-of-way requirement for JICA's proposed 2 LRT lines. LRT lines are always placed in the middle of the road. Based on its study, the road sections shown in pink lines are those with enough right-of-way for an LRT. The gaps shown here are those that need widening. This is a typical section of a 4-lane road in Cebu. To accommodate an LRT, the right-of-way needs to be increased by 3 meters or the width of 1 road lane. In contrast, a BRT needs 2 road lanes. If bike lanes will be installed, an additional width of 2 meters is required. Superimposing the central line and coastal line, it can be seen that extensive widening is required. These 2 most viable routes in Metro Cebu are about 25 kilometers each. It will take 5 to 10 years to acquire the widening along these 2 lines since they are already populated by numerous buildings on both sides. The potential of Metro Cebu to have an LRT as early as possible greatly depends on the progress on the acquisition of the needed right-of-way. These 2 LRT lines can be implemented. JICA has a very good record of implementing its proposed projects. LRTs appear to be the only viable mode of mass transport for the high passenger demand corridors in Cebu. BRT cannot serve high-capacity corridors, particularly in Cebu where roads are narrow. Again, the FS of LRT Phase 1 was supposed to have started in 2019, but as of the posting of this video in 2023, the FS has not yet started. Hopefully, this LRT project will start soon with the help of JICA. There is no other solution to solve the vehicle traffic along the high passenger demand corridors in Metro Cebu. For purposes of planning or projection, we will assume that JICA might be able to start the FS in January 2024. The completion of LRT Phase 1 will now be completed in 2032 instead of 2027. Again, this is the new schedule of the FS for LRT Phase 1. The BRT Phase 1 has started in January 2023. It will be completed in early 2024. It is so short at 3 kilometers and only located in one road at Osmeña Boulevard. It is expected to improve traffic at this road but not in all the rest of Metro Cebu. In the meantime, in the next 10 years, there will likely be increasingly worsening traffic conditions in Metro Cebu. During these 10 agonizing years of waiting, ART might be able to contribute in reducing traffic congestion. There are a total of 7 ART lines that can potentially be installed in Metro Cebu to serve medium-capacity corridors. One ART line can be designed, financed, and installed within 3 years, as was done in La Paz, Bolivia. This will be elaborated in the next chapter and in other chapter videos.